The Chiropractic Philanthropist, episode 266.
Starting your own practice is hard for many chiropractors. It's riddled with both struggles and successes. But here at the Chiropractic Philanthropist, we make it easy by having chiropreneurs and entrepreneurs share their struggles and lessons learned in life and business so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. And now here's your host, Dr. Ed Osborne.
Hey chiropractors, tired of doing weekend-long health screenings at health fairs? Is spending weeks preparing for talks or workshops getting in the way of quality time with your family and friends? Then why aren't you tapping into social media for new patients? I have a solution for you. 3S Chiropractic Systems is a company run by chiropractors with years of web and social media marketing experience, and they're offering you a complete, affordable, done-for-you package. This system is swooping across the globe and is geographically exclusive. So find out right now if your area is available. They offer a full money-back guarantee for the first month, so there's no risk. Apply at 3schiropracticsystems.com/TCP to make sure you don't miss out. All right, TCP listeners, I have an incredible guest today, and that is actually student extraordinary, and that is Lacey Wilson. Lacey, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't remember the last time I interviewed a student on the Chiropractic Philanthropist, so this is definitely switching it up for me. But before we get started, we love to always learn more about the guests that are on the show. So can you go ahead and actually share with us a little bit about you as a person, but then you as a student as well?
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up in a small town in eastern Oklahoma, small as in like 900 people small. I was one of the first people in the town to go to a big university and actually get out of the town. I attended Oklahoma University in Norman, Oklahoma. I thought I was going to go be a plastic surgeon. That was my lifelong dream. I was going pre-med. It was about my second year at OU, and I met a girl who her father was actually a chiropractor in Oklahoma City, and we were talking one night in study hall, and she was like, "Hey, why don't you, come check out this seminar with me and see if you like chiropractic?" And I was like, okay, I'll go check it out. I've never really heard anything about chiropractic, but why not? So I went to a seminar, and it's called Focus OKC, and heard a lot of different speakers, big names like Billy DeMoss, Tim Young, who else was that year? Tony Abel, and it just lit a whole new fire in my soul, man. It was so cool to see like people that were actually living and doing what they love and just taking care of people and getting people actually better and helping facilitate those people's lives. So fast forward into Parker U, where I decided to attend. And yeah, so that's where I am now. And I'm just an easygoing student who I'm kind of a free spirit. Most people say I kind of don't conform to what other people are doing. I have a very independent mindset. I'm very purpose-driven. I think my parents actually taught me that. And yeah, so I'm just going with the flow right now in Parker and just entered clinic and ready to get done.
Well, congratulations on entering clinic. That's a huge transition, isn't it? When you start, going and actually seeing people, I guess you could say, inside the clinic itself.
Yeah.
And so, let me ask you this question. I mean, is there ever a part of you that ever goes, you know what? Hey, I wish I had actually gone through and been a plastic surgeon?
No, absolutely not. Now that I've actually been in school, even though school sucks, like, you know it, everybody else knows it, you just got to get by. I love it. I love seeing the changes. I recently went to a mission trip in Haiti, and that really killed it for me. Like, man, this is where I'm supposed to be. I couldn't imagine being a plastic surgeon now, especially being in the medical field. And plastic surgery is kind of like a cosmetic thing. It's I just didn't want to deal with that. I want to help people, and I want to connect with people on that deeper level and really help their life become more connected.
I mean, on the philanthropist, we do have that saying that we are all more alike than we are different. And I think one thing that as chiropractors we're all more alike is that we want to help people. We're passionate about what we do. I sometimes wonder if like a dentist gets up in the morning and is so passionate about teeth or oral hygiene or something like that. I can't see it. I have a hard time with that. Or a podiatrist being so passionate about feet.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I love what we do. So I'd love to hear like a quote, some positive words, affirmation that we can actually share with doctors as well.
Yeah, so it was about a year ago. I was listening to Dr. Autumn Gore here at Parker. And, if you've ever met her or listened to her, she throws the fire down. Like, she's just so passionate and so strong-willed, and she's a badass. But so she said something that really has always stuck in my head. And it's about chiropractic, but it's also can be utilized in, your life with people. She said, chiropractic isn't a correction thing. It's a connection thing. But people don't realize that they're so disconnected in the outside world. And, especially I know when I talk about chiropractic or whenever I just talk about life in general to people outside of the Parker bubble or the chiropractic bubble, they don't really get what we do until you sit down and educate them and explain to them, hey, chiropractic is more than just back pain, neck pain, whatever, cracking, sounds. That's what everybody's obsessed with in the outside world. It's about the connection and the love and that deep understanding that there is something bigger than just, pills and the medical field and everything. Once you sit there and you talk about connection, people get it because they're so disconnected. They're like, wow, I want to be connected. I want to feel loved. I want somebody to help me out. So I think that's a really important quote that I think every chiropractor should know, that it's not about a correction. It's not about just getting by with neck pain and back pain. It's about connecting with that person on that table and making a difference in their life.
Thank you for that. I love that saying. And connection in terms of, connection of the nervous system, right? Or disconnection, but also, that other aspect of it. It is truly about relationships. I loved the relationships that I built and the family that I built in my practice. It was fun. It was really fun going to practice. I enjoyed it. If you could say, because it's been a long time, Lacey, since I've been in chiropractic college, but I remember that when I was in chiropractic college, at times it sucked. Like, it was hard, man. It was hard.
Yeah.
And I still wonder how I got through that thing. But if you could say, like, the modern student right now and today, what is the thing that most students are struggling with right now, or you personally?
Yeah. So the biggest struggle I see with the student body, especially here at Parker, but everywhere really, is staying congruent with themselves. You come to school and everybody's here for a chiropractic story, or because they heard chiropractic is amazing and it's a healing thing, or they are just here checking it out, being like, I don't really know what chiropractic is, and let's just do the thing. And so I think that I know I personally see a lot of students struggle with finding themselves and being authentic and staying congruent with themselves. So, like, for example, you come into school and you think, oh, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to be this type of chiropractor. Well, as the tries go by, or quarters in other schools, you learn about new techniques. You go to different seminars. You attend different clubs, and you say, okay, there's more than just A, B, and C type of chiropractic. There's this kind of chiropractic, or this kind of, this type of chiropractic. There's so many avenues in the school that's trying to pull you in every direction. And so I think people just need to realize that they need to stay true to themselves and, like, why they are here. I think that's the biggest struggle I see with students these days.
And I think, even myself, when I was in school, like, what I thought I would be doing when I graduated wasn't what, like, it changed. I think, chiros have to be, or students, they need to be open and to the idea that, what they believe will be the future for them, their practice or how it might look, could be very different, 6 months from now.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. I mean, I'm a completely different person than whenever I first entered here. I knew about very little actually about chiropractic. I mean, I had listened to Focus and some big time doctors talk, and I knew about the green books, but I didn't really know the green books, and I didn't know what a straight chiropractor was or a mixed chiropractor or any of that until I started school here. And now I'm this crunchy hippie type person that doesn't like to wear shoes, and I'm pretty vitalistic, I would say. I guess straight chiropractor, as some people say. But yeah, I mean, it's completely different. It's done a complete 180 since I first started school. So yeah.
What do you think is the real weakness right now in terms of like what you're not, essentially what you're not being taught in school that you need to know?
Oh, what we're not. Man, there's a lot. School teaches you academics. They teach you how to pass a test or pass boards, or barely that, really. Students are lacking, or school is lacking to teach the students about the connection that we talked about earlier. They just think, lay down, get adjusted, do these therapies, make them do these exercises, then go home and we'll come back again. They don't really talk about the wellness aspect of it and how chiropractic can change someone's life, more than just pain. And so I think that also another thing too, that technique, it's by outdated chiropractors, I hate to say that, that aren't really keeping up with the time. And so I think technique and that connection and staying to the why, I think those are three big things that the school lacks. They just teach you how to get by, really. They don't teach you the business aspect of it. We just finally got business classes at Parker, and I really didn't learn anything in them. And so that's scary to see because, we hear all the time these classes that are graduating and only 8 chiropractors are actually practicing after graduation within 6 months. That's scary to think about in classes that are 50 to 75 people. You know what I mean? So I think those things have definitely got to change in the schools.
Well, I know that when I was in chiropractic college, I just felt I needed way more help when it came, and assistance and mentoring when it came to learning technique. So I actually just went and, we would just have these small groups, and we would go to chiropractors' offices after they were done adjusting throughout the day, and they would spend like an hour with us, and we would work. Mm-hmm. We would do the work, and we would train. Yeah. So who do you look for when you're looking for actually getting training and making sure that the skills are there to help people when you get out?
Yeah. So actually about a year ago, I joined Adjusting Ninjas with Dr. Brett and Lance. That is huge. And I know that I've been watching it develop over the past year, and more schools are getting Adjusting Ninjas Club. And we train twice a week with a big group. We have about 60 students, I think, that get together early in the morning at 6:15, and we train. We train like we are going into a marathon. But outside of that, I do training on my own. Like you said, we go to doctors' offices after school hours or early in the morning, and we put forth the effort to learn how to train and learn how to do different techniques through these different practices and how they are practicing. So yeah, those Dr. Brett and Lance are huge with my training culture for sure. And I do CrossFit, so that's another thing. I always try to do a workout that incorporates chiropractic type warm-ups to kind of, because you have to get your body ready for one to give an adjustment, because a lot of people get hurt. And that's just crazy to me. I'm like, you're supposed to talk health and wellness and be that athlete, that star player of the game, so to say. And people are getting hurt. So I think that's a big thing. I think that all students really need to become a part of, whether it's Adjusting Ninjas or MLS. I know there's clubs for MLS. Those two things are huge, and people need to be training their mind, their body, and their spirit for sure.
Well, let's face it, if you have a high volume practice, and everyone's definition of high volume is different, but you have to train yourself physically, and you have the stamina to do that. Like if you want to see 100 patients in a day, that takes a lot out of you. It takes a toll on your body over time. If you've been in next thing you know, 20 years in, right? So, I agree. You have to, I heard someone, I was speaking last week, and they were talking about radical self-care, putting yourself first and taking care of yourself so that you can care and serve for others as well. So that's a great point to bring to TCP. Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
And so I got to tell you, we always talk about on the Philanthropist about resources, about, this is what you need to listen to, this is what you need to be reading. And it's usually more relevant to look, these are docs who are in practice today. Mm-hmm. But for the students, what would you recommend? Look, you got to check this out, you got to listen to this, or you got to read this. What resources?
So I think everyone listening out there is on the right track listening to your podcast. I know myself and others listen to your podcast daily, if not more than daily. Another good book I like to suggest is Rising Strong by Brene Brown. I think she's from Texas, actually. That book I read that, I think, 3 years ago. And it's about falling and what it takes to get back up. And I think that it is so important to know that it's okay to fail. That creates a better headspace. You fail, you get back up, and you're better from that fail. So I think that's a good book to check out. It's not chiropractic related, but it's really about the mindset and how to get back up after falling. And then, of course, Gary Vee. That dude is on fire right now. I've listened to him daily, too. And just, his words of wisdom. He's a pretty straight shooter. He's not chiropractic related either, but I think that a lot of the stuff he says is true, Get off your ass and go do it. You can do it. Never give up, for sure. Just do it. And then I'm currently reading Anatomy of the Spirit, which I'm just mind blown about this book because I'm only halfway through it. But it's crazy to think about how whenever you connect with yourself on such a deeper level, that you connect with others on an even deeper level. It's all about connection, and it's a really cool book. I think a lot of people should check it out, especially if you're into tonal work or just trying to find that deep connection within, because you'd be surprised how deep you can get. So yeah, those are some of my resources so far.
Beautiful. All right, listeners, so you can actually head to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com, and we're going to have a webpage dedicated to our discussion with future chiropractor Lacey Wilson, and leader, it looks like, in the profession. And we'll have links, clickable links to all the resources. So if you're listening on your mobile right now, go ahead and actually open up those show notes, and we'll have clickable links right there for you. Lacey, brought it today. Thank you so much for being on The Philanthropist. I really do have to tell you, you're well-spoken, and you don't seem to be nervous at all being on The Philanthropist or sharing with so many listeners here in our profession and our colleagues. And I truly do think, you're one of the future leaders that are coming out and emerging in the profession. So thank you for being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's super cool.
So you've heard the struggles, you've heard the successes, and this episode is done. But there's still so much more to come and so much more to learn. Head on over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com and sign up for our newsletter, where you'll receive free practice building tips and strategies, including how to market your practice with your very own podcast and so much more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Chiropractic Philanthropist.